King Samoa, and welcome back to Doctor Who, Season 2. The fan base gets real finicky about that one. Episode 3, School Reunion. Once again, I am joined by my brother Caden.
Good morning.
And, of course, it's School Reunion, so very special episode. We are going to be joined by the wonderful, fan-favorite Fourth Doctor companion, K9. Give him a round of applause for K9. We're all very excited. You're not clapping. We're all
I don't
very
think my
excited.
mic's picking it up.
It was a little bit. We're all very excited for K9, a hero, a constant companion. Sarah Jane's here, too. Which, you know, I guess it's all right. You had to get K9 in the plot somehow. It also really bothers me that I actually have to specify that as much as it's kind of a bit, the excitement for K9 over Sarah Jane is not a bit. Sarah Jane is an overrated generic companion, and I don't get why people love her so... No, I do. People love Sarah Jane so much because she happened to be the companion during what many consider to be the best era with the best stories. And that's why she's liked so much, even though she is like the epitome of the modern problem of just a generic woman from modern day. Hot take, I know. Speaking of hot takes, this is the... we'll save that hot take for after I got to explain what we're doing, but remind me about the hot take.
I'll try
If you don't know what we're doing, we are basically recording an audio commentary track live. So you can see the time bar on the screen. Basically, what we're going to do is also play a little blurred version of the episode. But yeah, it's bring your own video. So we are watching... It's much easier to do this in Star Trek. There's no link in the description because you can get it from a bunch of places. We are watching the episodes from the American David Tennant, complete David Tennant collection, which is now a misnomer. But the set of Blu-rays, my digital backups. This means it is the full UK version. Sometimes they're cut for time in America because of commercials. It's the original UK version. However, it is played at American speeds for reasons that I will literally keep me up at night. American Doctor Who was broadcast and is sold about 4% faster than British Doctor Who. If you want to know why, trust me, you don't. You're better off in ignorance. But you could just look into it. Believe me, you know how long we've done these watch-alongs for, Caden? I could have spent like the whole time going off about frame rate conversions and like how you don't actually... Basically, someone somewhere was lazy, and now we got to deal with this problem. As I always forget to mention, which I really should first, that's if you're watching it live. There might be a link in the description. Oh, well, first off, it'll tell you which version it is. But to the other version... provided I ever actually upload sped up versions of these live streams.
Big provided.
But yeah, if you look at our time bar, it's like a 46-minute episode. If yours is like 4% off from that, whoops. I mean, that's why. If you veer off from us, that's why. But like, it starts off okay, but by the end, I think you're 5 minutes off or something like that. It's very noticeable. But anyway, yes, the hot take. I did it. I've only gone and done it, Caden. I've assassinated I've ranked the doctors. I did it. I pulled up Photoshop. I had a good hard think. And so, okay, technically, the 14th, 13th, and 12th positions are a little bit up in the air. Because I haven't written one of them. But I know they will be the 15th, 16th, and 17th, whatever I said. 14th, 15th, 16th, whatever they are. And I have written the 9th Doctor segment. I'm not writing them in any order, so that doesn't necessarily mean that the 9th Doctor is number 1 or number 16. But, so yeah, when I talk about these, I'm writing them in, like, basically I thought he'd be the easiest to write, because we just watched him. And in order to place him, I basically had to fully work out the logic of why, and so the script was basically written anyway. But yeah, if you... Ranking the doctors, I did most of it in an afternoon, but then you gotta come back and like kind of vibe check it and be like,
Oh yeah.
do you really deserve to be there? Or like, but actually, I was surprised. Every time I came back, I was like, you know what? Yeah.
Okay.
It was, but writing the Ninth Doctor, I just did, I don't know, maybe like over an hour or two, just the first draft. Because I got to the point where I was like writing sections for like the Ninth, 12th, and 4th Doctor in my head. And I was like, okay, I need to just start committing these. And I'm sending notes to myself on like an alternate Discord where I'm just sending chunks of script. If you extrapolate the Ninth Doctor out, the video will be about 2 hours, which passes a vibe check of like, yeah, I was kind of expecting that. It will include many hot takes. It'll probably include the hottest take you've ever heard. In fact, it'll be funny because you might watch that video before we get to the really hot take. And so you'll hear me talk about it. You'll be like, yeah. And then we watch the episode. You're like, you didn't like this one? No, yeah. If you're wondering why it's 16 doctors, I'm not doing the 15th. He's just too young. And anywhere I put him on the list is kind of meaningless. And if you ask me again in a year, I'll be like, man, I wish I didn't put him there. Like that's why. So 14 doctors, the 14th Doctor segment isn't going to be long, but I have enough interesting stuff to say. There'll be a bit. And then, you're here, I guess. I got to be kind of vague, but, I got kind of the biggest non-numbered doctors are also on that list. Because, again, I won't talk a lot about them, but I was like, I have enough interesting stuff to say that I'll feel I'll include them, even if it's like 2 minutes, So the list really starts at number like 12, like the 12th position is where the list properly starts. So it's a good half hour of a wasted video. But hey, if you watch our content, you clearly like wasted time.
Clearly. They're in for the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, but we got to get a move on with this episode, which, by the way, I was talking to Caden a lot in detail. We do have a bit of a time pressure today, so I want to get started. But we should have fixed the audio troubles. In brief, so how we do this is I have Blu-rays, right, that I rip to MKVs using a free program. It's free while in beta, which as far as I can tell, the beta is going to end about 2 weeks after the heat death of the universe. But anyway, have those. And then for space, on a second hard drive, I move them to MP4s. I usually play those MP4s, so they're double converted. Long story short, somewhere along that conversion chain, we lost an audio track. And VLC Media wants to default to headphones. Even though we watch them in headphones, it sounds like crap. And so I have to go back to my MKV rip and listen to it in stereo. And that's why it only started now, is because this was a recent problem. Once I got the Christmas special, I thought it was just a problem with like the UK discs, but apparently like VLC Media updated. So hopefully Caden and I should like hear the episode a lot better. Which is good because it's got K9 in it.
Oh, I can't wait for K9. I can't. Hopefully, I haven't worked myself up.
Well, Alex was real disappointed when they walked by and he spoke, and Alex was like, "I didn't think they spoke." But yeah, they got around to it. After this, this is how I'll get you into Big Finish. I haven't heard it, but there's a companion chronicles where like they have a companion narrate a story that is narrated by K9. And I'm hyped for that one over on Big Finish. But yes, I think it's time we get started. And then we can ramble for as much as we can after that. I think, Doc 200% audio is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And on go, everyone's going to hit play. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Only 10 minutes of rambling at the start.
Wow.
Oh, wait, hang on. This is my MKV. Oh, I have subtitles. That's another benefit of using the MKV. I'll turn those on for us, unless you want him to go away. Wait, is the time bar? Okay, good. Do you want the subtitles on or off?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. I find they can kind of like spoil the joke or draw the eye, but my mic is in the way anyways. I do love that the headmaster complains that the child is thin, because, you know, he might not be a normal headmaster. Wow, that's a long bell. Aw, man, I forgot I was going to slip a reference into this scene, into the intro. Wow, okay, stereo mode is loud.
There's a new volume bar for me as well on Discord. I can
Ooh.
stream attenuation. If I turn it on, basically when you talk, it'll automatically turn down the stream volume.
Oh, that's cool. That's what they do for actual audio tracks.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm like a professional now, and I didn't have to do anything. No, that we are professional. I think we got a donation once. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we do this professionally.
Pros.
Toby Whitehouse, by the way, which is amazing that Russell T Davies didn't chose to write this episode. You might be surprised to hear, but he's a massive Doctor Who fan. I would have loved a word that's not physics in there, like history. No, physics. Okay, I can't see the subtitles, but they'll repel. It's less impressive with subtitles. A word I've never said before, and hope I never do again.
Correctamundo?
Yep.
Oh, what's wrong with that word?
It doesn't really... You know, I've never questioned the scene, Caden, but... you know, not much. Maybe I'm too used to a doctor that says fam. It's like, yeah, this is fine now. Or like the 15th Doctor. Okay, oh, he did say protein. I'm like, that one was obvious. Okay, class, today we're gonna learn about salt.
Eat more
Oh my
chips.
gosh. I was gonna say, they literally have 2 posters in the kitchen. Not the cafeteria, but the kitchen to eat more chips. I'm sorry, I am peeking. My mic is being bad today. Now I'm quiet. Where's the sweet spot? Testing, testing. Testing? There we go. I've started making French fries.
Have you?
Yeah, although our oven's energetic. It's over enthusiastic. We're working on it. He really does look like a teacher.
It does.
The design was basically like a cross between a scruffy student and a professor at that college. That's the 10th Doctor. I mean, like half the Doctors can be described like that, but... Is that a thing
evil.
Is that a thing in
Well,
the UK where like you just get moved up to a higher class in the middle of the school day? Like, or you get dropped from an advanced class? That doesn't happen. Oh, go
In
on.
middle school, that happened to me because for a quarter, I went to the wrong class and I had no idea.
Well, that's different.
In fact,
That's different.
they
My
came
mic.
in and they were,
Do I sound fine? Every now and then OBS is freaking out about my mic.
You sound fine to me, but
Okay. Every
it's
now and
coming
then
from
it
the
just
Discord.
peaks. Hey, Torchwood.
Evil chips.
There you go.
An
You
odd
got it.
strategy.
You solved it.
Yes.
I mean, I like to put a little bit of evil in my chips, too. It does add to the flavor. Like, that also happened when I was making chips. Because you have to flip them over and they're real hot. And yeah. Does Mickey have a book on his shelf that is just titled Abbreviations? He's got a thick book. No, she does that. Did I pick up that joke? I didn't realize. I say that all the time. It's 2006. Oh my god, it is 2006. Look at those headphones. Do you remember those headphones?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Jeez.
good. I mean, because schools never get updated tech.
No, never.
I know the computers at the school we went to, I don't want to say the district, but they literally came from like a prison. Because the prison got some updated techs, some updated computers, and the old ones at the prison were better than the school computers, so they gave them to the school.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh man, someone likes quick cuts. God, were computers really that big once? No way I had a monitor that big. There she is! I mean, she's not K9. I don't know why I'm excited. Man, I hate that policy as a vegan. Just like... Is that common in the UK, like compulsory school lunches? Because I feel like you couldn't get that passed in America anywhere. Like, there'd be riots. Especially when they're serving, like, chips and stuff, you know? But do you know anything about Sarah Jane? Probably not.
Other than what you've said, nothing
Yeah.
specifically, really.
Beloved companion of the third and fourth Doctors, a journalist, very capable. You know how Ruby's pretty generic? Kind of like that, but with a bit more personality. I know. I'm sick burn. She must be so weirded out at, like, this random man. I would have written a line like, I didn't think I'd been that pretty for decades or something, you know? It was him. You know, there's a problem where fans like to say that their favorite scenes were like totally ad-libbed or something, right? Or like actual reactions, which does kind of undermine, you know, the actor's skill. But I do kind of like to think, with literally no evidence, that they didn't let David Tennant meet Elizabeth Sladen, the actress, until this scene. And so that's just David Tennant reacting to meeting Sarah Jane Smith.
I like that.
But, you know, it's almost certainly not.
I will believe.
You will believe. It's like the first promo shot you get of the 10th Doctor is very clearly him trying to rein in his excitement, but he's a giddy school child who just gets to be the Doctor now, and he's loving it. Also, I love the prop backpack with nothing in it.
I gotta look at it.
It's super flat. Actually, weirdly, not as good as the werewolf, which was covered in hair.
Yeah, I agree.
And they blew all the budget on K9. He's a very expensive voice actor, I guess. Wait, is this school Desert Valley High School?
I've been trying to read it, but I can't. Yeah, make
I'll
out.
look it up after the episode if we don't see it. Oh, that reminds me. One of the previous episodes, we were gonna do something, and I forgot, but I can't remember what it is now. So
That's
yeah.
helpful.
You have to live with the guilt too. Oh, the cups in the hospital.
Oh, the cups.
No,
yeah.
we gotta look at the
Triangle
cups.
cup.
Yeah. Don't say fam. Actually, 11. I might use that for my doctor ranking video for 13.
Fam.
11. 25. Yeah. I bet I could use that clip. That might happen a lot where I pull out my phone to be like, actually, no, I'm going to use that one later. Can I take a moment to say just how much better the audio quality is now in the mixing? Like, if you're one of the people who complains that Marigold's music is too loud, don't get me wrong, it probably could be better if I really think about it, but mess with the audio settings on your TV, because that is almost certainly the reason. Like, until I had that problem for this stream, I had never even understood the complaint that Marigold's music was too loud. My god, they redecorated the TARDIS.
They fixed the light.
Back in her day, I think it was actually like the 20-year-old TARDIS that was falling apart at the seams. Oh, look at him. He really can put like power and age into the character. You're dressed so boring now. My god, those eyes. Almost. I've mentioned before, but oh yeah, I'll let her finish. Well, no, her spin-off show, The Sarah Jane Adventures, is actually really good. She's a little better in it than she was in Doctor Who, being a main character, but it's mostly the other characters that shine because she's a bit generic. and because it's a kid show, they kind of pose her as a bit more like super virtuous, like much more of a role model-y figure. Oh yeah, I forgot about that plot line. So when Sarah Jane left the TARDIS, I'll provide some context. The Doctor basically had to go to Gallifrey for something, so he left Sarah Jane at home, except it wasn't home, it was like northern Scotland, because he does that. But yeah, she didn't want to leave, really. She kind of had to. And then the Doctor is like, I guess I don't have to go back for her. And it's never addressed whatsoever until today.
Man, jerk.
Well, look, it was the classics. Companions just kind of go, you know. You would laugh at some of the companion exits. even behind the scenes, like companions joining and leaving are often super like short notice. They'll have a good actor and they're like, yeah, you want to be the companion? Like, we're halfway through writing your story, but you want to be in the future episodes we've already written? It's like, yeah, sure. And some of them are like, hey, you're not working. Bye. The Seventh Doctor literally had to fight for, like, his companion to get an exit speech because they were just going to have her leave with literally nothing. She just doesn't come with them at the end.
Messed up.
I know. She was like, what the hell? You know what? They are actually pretty good models for the time. They're just not the best in motion.
Werewolf still peak.
The werewolf was impressive because fur, even now, is so hard.
Yeah.
You know? My lucky number. Doctor, this is why we don't park the TARDIS in the enemy base. There he is! It's my boy!
Oh!
K9! Even though this one wasn't actually in the classic series, but hey, a K9! Oi. Oh, wow, God. I do get influenced by this show. Nope, I'm gonna judge Sarah Jane for just not repairing K9. Because she's like that. But I don't hate Sarah Jane. She's just kind of dull. Like, she's fine.
You're throwing so much
But
shade at her.
she's just... Look, if Sarah Jane wasn't touted as, like, one of the greatest companions ever, I'd be like, meh, whatever. Like, she was fine. But it's the fact that she's touted so hard. I get sick of it. Actually, I want to see that. Also, shoutouts to the slushy machines. They didn't bother filming for this scene.
No, they've been there so long. They emptied them.
They clearly got the restaurant, but they would only let them film after closing hours, which is part of why it's night, and they didn't fill up the machines for, like, closing time. That's what's happened. Oh. You still there? Discord weirded out.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, that one's much better. It's really all about lighting, I think. I don't know.
It's a weird character
know,
design.
man. Which one was that? Oh, yeah. Look, Sarah Jane, I got some bad news about the slew of amazing companions that came after you. He really was. I do really like this, what they do with Sarah Jane here, with, like, what happens when you leave the companions behind, especially Sarah Jane, in, like, the manner she left. But they do add this really weird, like, romance aspect to it, which is just never there. With Four and Sarah Jane. She met the third Doctor, who was basically like her grandfather. Well, yeah, you met 3.
I remember when they do something kind of like that with Amy, don't they?
Like, basically every companion after this.
Oh, I only remember the one with her.
Amy leaves, like, a few times, really. Amy and Rory.
Mm.
Well, there he is. But yeah, no, they weren't sure if Amy would come back for season 7, so they have him leave, but then just come back. It happens a few times.
I guess I gotta
My finger. Yeah, you gotta hear it.
Sounds like salad fingers.
Like, that's a weird. I think it's because he's booting up. He's booting up. Also, how dare
No, I
you,
love
Mickey,
him.
insult my boy? Yeah, best companion. Give me 4th Doctor, Leela, K9 any day. I'll love it. I feel like there's got to be a really good Big Finish story about that concept. Because we never really explore it in this episode. There's just enough going on elsewhere. I know there's some Krillitane stories. There's got to be a really good one about that.
I guess that excuses the goofy design.
Wow.
It's a personal thing. I understand.
No, I mean, it's just, it is generic monster, I guess. Yes, Sarah Jane, sometimes they are tin dogs. Come on, Modern Who. Oh my god. So that's the problem, is BBC will write the tin dog, but they won't actually write them as a tin dog. God, like 30? I don't know. Don't get me started on the EU. Some of them die. This is also an interesting, oh god, the 4th Doctor did not love Sarah Jane, like, romantically. No. I can just about maybe give you the other way around, but no. This very much fits with the 10th Doctor and a lot of modern Doctors. I don't think it's really something that was in the classics, though. Or, like, maybe with this, the Doctor was younger, so was hiding it more. At that point, I don't think he'd had, like, a companion die. But yeah, this episode does do a lot of kind of retroactively inserting stuff into, like, 1,000 years of history. And it rightfully gets criticized for that, but thankfully K9 is just a beautiful, perfect boy.
It saves everything.
What would have been funny, though, actually not funny, as good as if you brought up the fact he said K9 Mark III. That's because he regularly just replaces K9. Like, he sends a K9 off with Leela, then he builds a new one. He sends a K9 off with Romana, then he builds a new one to give to Sarah Jane.
No, it's like when you buy one dog and it needs a friend.
Oh, you sound like my wife. This guy who plays the Krillitane is apparently a really big actor, but I only ever watch Doctor Who and Star Trek, so...
This feels like a Western standoff.
In a swimming pool.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Art. Ooh. Is it Derpyvale? Derpyvale High School? I'll have to look it up. Just realized this is one of the villains who's naked right now because their clothes appear when they shapeshift.
Oh, I don't like that.
There's a theory with some you could back up that the Doctor doesn't actually wear clothes. It's always holographic clothes.
I do not believe that one.
We'll get to the 11th Doctor.
The other.
Might use that one for the video, too. I do like the job this actor is doing, though. It's really well done. Like, even his little quirks, kind of like this constant head tilt or like a slightly open mouth.
No, he's doing good.
K9. Best and worst companion in a car at the same time. One of these people is a sex offender, and it's not the dog. You used to only do one thing in your day. You don't, though. Like, I can't stress enough how much it's not there in the classics. I don't remember that. Oh, that's Pyramids of Mars. Were you dinosaurs in a spaceship? Oh, she was. Yeah, you'll get to see her when you watch Dinosaurs. And yes, the Loch Ness Monster is an episode. It invades London. I don't remember why. That's not even the main point of the episode. Just the Loch Ness Monster shows up for the last part to make it interesting.
That's funny.
It's like a rubber puppet, I think. No, Tom would make fun of you. We don't see Tom Baker stroke bits of the TARDIS, but I love the image of the Fourth Doctor and his scarf just like, oh, poor girl. That's my Tom. Yeah, I love, someone pointed this out to me. There's a reaction Tom does a lot where he's got his hands as puppet. He's like, well, you know, it's kind of like a cheeky, sort of guilty, like, well. I'll point it out, but David Tennant does the same thing, and it's absolutely because he's a big nerd and is like, I get to be Tom Baker now. Because the 10th Doctor has the same, well, it's like when you see him back to back, it's brilliant. Not just because it's fun watching David Tennant be a dork, but it's just the continuity of the character, you know? Like, you can see bits of who he used to be. There's a whole special we'll watch where, like, it's the 10th and 5th Doctor, and the 10th Doctor's like, here's everything I got from you and that you never noticed before. Like, being the massive nerd he is, he probably, like, every aspect of his character comes from a previous Doctor. Oh, you almost saw the name on the screen. Where's HD when you need it?
Yeah, that's really the part that's messing us up.
Yeah, one day we'll get to Matt Smith and we can critique all the background details. Actually, they remastered this into HD not too long ago. No idea how good it is, but it was part of like an entire modern era box set that was like $200 collector edition, maybe even more. And I'm like, eh. Ah, come on. Almost saw it. I also gotta remember this scene because you could so easily green screen something hilarious into the background. Like this is potential for an amazing meme template here.
Yeah. That's definitely the exact same shot they used 15 seconds ago.
Well, look, they reuse shots.
They
don't have-
not enough time
look.
between those two.
Disney's not here to help you. Oh, I guess he did see one of the teachers as a monster. Because I'm like, this kid's just running around the school freaking out that everyone's at computer lab. I never could figure out the mouse. They don't give K9 a lot to do in this episode, do they?
Not enough K9 screen time.
Look, let me be honest. They don't give K9 a lot to do in this episode is something you could say about every episode K9 is in. Just... But here's a top line from K9. Oh, he wasn't even on! Mickey! We are in a car. Okay, the guy who plays Mickey is an awful person, but he does have some great lines. Wait a minute. We're in a car.
2 good Mickey ones today.
He's the tin dog. I do like the angle they take with Mickey in this episode, where like he's having a bit of an existential crisis that he's the tin dog, but they're also just clearly making him the tin dog. Yeah, I'm sorry to think Russell might not have liked K9. And you're unimaginative a-holes. You know what this does mean, though? This small UK school in 2006 has more computers than it does students.
Funny. A whole room.
And maybe they've eaten that many students. Man, when you... His arc really is there the whole time, and it's amazing how much it, like, pulled the rug out from people at the end of the 3 seasons. We'll really get to his arc in his final story, I think, but, I wish they did his final story differently. God, I hate that take. So, hardship makes us who we are is an entirely true statement looking backwards. Like, the events of our lives all contribute to who we are currently. Looking forward, it's nonsense. Like, if a kid's father died when they were young, that'd probably have a big impact on them. But if you sat them down and went, look, do you want to live the world where your father dies and that hardship defines you 20 years on and you're like happy where you are, acknowledging that hardship defined you? Or would you rather live the world where your father didn't die, you lived with him, the events you went on in that timeline shaped who you were, and you ended up happy and content with who you are as a person? Like, obviously the one where your father's not dead, Sarah Jane. And the reason I hate it so much is because it's like a blocker to actually solving a lot of problems, is the idea that, like, you need hardship. Yeah, it's a sensible philosophy looking backwards, but not forwards.
Alright, I agree with that.
Man, Marigold, you are loud when no one's talking. With Star Trek, I never have to touch the volume. In fact, look how many chairs this cafeteria has. The, like, computer to chair ratio is way off. There's like 5 computers for every chair in this cafeteria.
K9 better not get eaten.
No, dude, he's in maximum defense mode, Caden.
Oh,
Did you
okay,
see
so
how
we're
effective? He
fine.
was
We're
like
good.
spinning,
Seems
shooting
pretty
at a
fine.
fixed angle. Yeah, no, look at that. That's untouchable. See, he knows they can't win. He's intimidated. He's terrified. Oh, he ran out of power.
Oh.
That happens a lot, too.
I really like their main guy. He's so
Yeah.
good.
I like that they kept the continuity of everyone beating on the door at the top on like both sides. And even the
yeah.
scratch marks look like they line up, at least at a glance. Oh, well, that does help, I guess. But that is how the fire system works, though. There's just like one central
naturally.
wire, yeah.
He's back.
Oh, he charged up again. There we go. And you get to experience as well. K9 moves at 2 miles per hour. They run at 10, yet he manages to catch up. It's a staple. See, look, he's probably back. Oh, yeah, see, he's back there.
He
In
speeds
his
up when you
old
don't look.
age, he's at the back, though. Like in the classics, he'd be in the front. All right, K9, now that they're gone, we can go. Get to the TARDIS, K9, you and me.
That is conveniently labeled.
Okay, you went to computer lab. That's how it works. In fact, usually they're just on the floor. Man, that's why we have you, Mickey. You're the tech guy. That's what he went to college for. Actually, I think Mickey's a mechanic. They could have made him like a programmer, but he's like works on cars. Man, they really... I feel like someone didn't like David Tennant. For your first episode, you're asleep. For your second episode, you're Cassandra. For your third, you're gonna speak Scottish. For the fourth, we're gonna kill K9. Maybe next time, David Tennant. Maybe next time. Yeah, next time you get to meet the Cybermen, you know, that'll be fun. K9, glasses up.
Oh.
K9 Mark III. He's a good boy. He's a very good boy. Oh yeah, what did Sarah Jane do this episode? Brought K9, that's what she did. Look at him. That's a badass right there. Certified. I want a shirt with K9 on it that just says certified badass. See, look at that. Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
Well, look. Their oil is toxic, Caden. Well, are you sure Russell T. Davies didn't write this plot? Freeze frame. Kenny later spent the next 10 years in and out of juvie in prison. He grew up to be a hardened drug lord. The spin-off didn't even happen anyway, David. See, what did she do this episode? Like, actually. She
She
brought K9?
Yeah, that was fun. was good. We like K9.
I guess that
doing
she was the core of the emotional storyline, but that kind of just got in the way, if anything. Like, of the actual solving, from a non-narrative perspective. Man, David, why is your TARDIS just painted on? I can see the back wall. That's the worst I've ever seen that done. You've redecorated. I don't like it. That's a joke to the third Doctor. There we go. You gotta say you don't like it. It's the rule. Chibnall, sorry. Mickey, I don't like the smile on your face. A man accused of what you've done should not have that smile on his face. Go away. I've got my own spin-off, David. You're welcome to join, though. The last scene David Tennant filmed as the 10th Doctor was for Sarah Jane Adventures.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh my god, I couldn't imagine Mickey and Sarah Jane Adventures. I don't think I've ever noticed Rosemouth no. See, what did she do this episode? She put the sex offender in the TARDIS. Like, well done, Sarah Jane. Okay, to be in the classics, like, useless is not something you can use to describe Sarah Jane, but it is a little bit of a bit. It's a little bit of a bit. Sarah, please stop. Back in her day, people were so afraid of the idea of the Doctor having sex that they wrote his entire species to be incapable of reproduction and grown in looms. just to demonstrate how much that wasn't there. Hey, I know that song. That's a Christmas special song. On the piano. She'll adopt. Twice. Sarah, stop. Stop. He was like your grandfather, Sarah. And then he was like a weird uncle. That's how I described them. Actually, you got grandpa, weird uncle, co-student. That's like the first 5 Doctors. Then you get like grumpy grandpa, and then you get like, well, I don't even know how to just. If you have a family member like the 7th Doctor, I'm sorry. But Caden, do you remember when I was talking about the Sarah Jane Adventures? I mentioned that someone was in it. And that's why look at him. He's back, K9!
K9!
He survived! Woo! He survived!
Oh,
Woo!
my goodness.
Mark IV! Yeah, he does, but look, Sarah Jane, your replacement Leela was so much better.
If Sarah Jane hadn't come into this episode, K9 never would have got rebuilt and reborn.
Well, he also would have been like a dead battery, to be fair. But why was he a dead battery? Sarah Jane couldn't repair him. She didn't even travel with K9 back in her day. I don't think she met K9. I mentioned the reason she has K9, a K9.
Are you talking about the dog?
Oh my gosh, yeah, you spooked me.
Sorry, I came down to switch the laundry.
The reason she has a K9 is they tried to do a spin-off show where Sarah Jane would be on Earth, because, even at the time, she was, like, super popular. And the Doctor, I guess, just gave her a K9 unit off-screen. I don't really know how he did it. I guess he could fly the TARDIS, properly at that point. For some reason. He still had a K9 as a companion, I'm pretty sure. I've never actually watched this episode, but it was like Sarah Jane and K9 like solving crimes and making up rhymes and stuff, which is funny because like however many decades later you get the Sarah Jane Adventures, which is Sarah Jane and like eventually K9 just running around solving crimes, making up rhymes, and like that's what they do. Although again, K9's not really in it till later on, but I mentioned that the first like one of the first scenes in the Sarah Jane Adventures is like they literally open a safe and they check up on K9 and she's like, K9 can't come to the show right now. He's busy guarding this black hole. We don't know how long it'll take because like we don't know if we'll have the money for John Leeson or whatever his name is. But don't worry, we haven't forgotten that we sent him off with me at the end of that episode.
Man, he was a highlight here.
That spinoff wasn't even planned. Russell, the BBC wanted a kid show. And they were like, hey, what if you do the Doctor, like, as a kid on Gallifrey? And Russell was like, what if? No. And then he pitched the Sarah Jane Adventures because he had fun working with her. Some people want the Doctor as a kid on Gallifrey. Every one of those people is absolutely wrong. It very much is a some people. And yeah, Russell was rightfully like, how about no? Yeah, and then they got their mature one with spin-off with Torchwood. Hey, New Earth. What?
Everything felt good about the episode, except, I don't know, the story itself.
Well, the plot wasn't the point. The point was, for one, just like, hey, it's Sarah Jane and K9. That's fun.
Yeah.
But an exploration of what happens after the companions leave, which you've literally never gotten until this episode. Back in the day, companions just kind of came and went like it was nothing. Nowadays, there's a big focus, especially in Russell T Davies' era, on the companion. Like, to an extent, the companion is almost more the main character than the Doctor. They're certainly the most interesting character. Like, if you think of Amy or Rose, Donna, even Martha. Like, Martha has more of a focus than the Doctor in that season. Is very much the other way around in the classic. Like, a lot of the companions weren't written that well. But even the ones that were, like, it wasn't even companion. That's more of a modern term. It was assistant, which is a term I hate. It just seems so, like, condescending and, like, there isn't any friendship, which there is. It is a companionship. Not a romantic one, but it is a companionship. But, like, that's the point where back in the day, they saw the companion as the assistant. It was someone lesser who helped. That was, like, the view of the companion. So, yeah, it is interesting. Oh, yeah, no, that's you can't set that cup down.
You can't.
There's maybe a base, you know, it for those of you who can't see. It's actually I can show you on stream because the time bar isn't blurred. Oh god, that taskbar is a little bit. You can kind of see by my arm there. There's this cone above the OBS symbol next to Steam. You just can't set that cup down.
No.
Yeah, no, those are pretty bad. Was there something else I wanted to show you? I can't. Yeah, it is funny, though, when people take these, like, normal things. It's like, okay, but it's a space cup. So it can't just be, like, a cup. Something that, when you think about it, really hasn't changed much in the past, like, 10,000 years.
Yeah.
It just made the material you construct it out of has changed. The basic shape is, you know, cylinder. Because,
it has to be. It literally has to be.
I mean, it could maybe be, like, a pitcher. But, you know, any sort of, like, the lip is still normal. You can drink from that fine. But it's also just really, space inefficient. Like, that's not going to be a lot of liquid at all. And, yeah, you can't set, well, actually, I guess if it's space inefficient, it doesn't matter that you can't set it down. You know, it's a bug, not a feature, if you want. No, feature, not a bug. Yeah, that way around. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it was pretty, I think it was pretty good just because it's fun seeing Sarah Jane and K9. But, it's not just nostalgia. Like, there is a reason to bring back Sarah Jane. Okay, K9 is nostalgia, but there's a reason to bring back.
Because K9's the best.
Oh yeah, but you know, I mean, to be fair, K9 was actually like barely used in that episode. So I guess they realized that. But if you want to do a story about a companion who's left behind, Sarah Jane is the perfect one, because she was like, for literally at the end of an episode, the doctor got a call, is like, I got to go to Gallifrey. Bye, you're not allowed to go to Gallifrey. And then the very next companion goes to Gallifrey like multiple times and ends up living there, which is hilarious.
That's messed up.
Yeah, in fact, the companion after her also ends up on Gallifrey. However, she was a Time Lord, so that one's a little less funny. That one. It is funny. Actually, if you count the 2 K9s as well, the 4 companions immediately after Sarah Jane all end up living on Gallifrey.
That's
oof, that's a big oof, man. I really wish we got a scene where Sarah Jane learned that, you know? It's like, hang on. But yeah, apparently, I didn't copy the Sarah Jane Adventures over to my external media hard drive, but I was going to show you before we head off that Sarah Jane. Yeah, the first episode of Sarah Jane Adventures is like an evil soda company because, you know, it's a kid's show. But one of the first scenes in the episode is literally like they go... oh, by the way, the CGI in that episode is actually, like, really good. Here we go. Is she literally opens this... Aw, it's broken. VLCB. She literally opens this massive safe that's like a secret hidden safe. Wow, VLC Media does not want to play well. She literally opens a secret massive safe that, like, you know, would be very difficult to break into. And it's just K9 floating in space. Is like, K9's busy watching this black hole. Jane Adventures K9. VLC Media is not playing nice. Here we go. It looks like there's a YouTube video. It's literally inside this safe is just K9, and he's watching a black hole. Why does Sarah Jane Smith have like a safe? Hang on. Oh no, these are just some like random scenes, I guess. But why does Sarah Jane have a K9 just in a safe, in a safe with space in it? That's like a black hole. No one knows, but he's too busy hanging out in the safe. He can't come to the series at the moment. Hang on, are we gonna open the safe? There we go. Oh yeah, that was the computer calling K9. This is when they get him out of the safe.
It's so remarkably wild that I love this way more than like not acknowledging it.
Oh, I mean,
this is the best.
It's funny, but it's funny just how out of the way they write him. It's not like every time they go to unit, you'll notice they mention why the Brigadier isn't there. It's like, oh, he's standing in Peru. Oh, he's in like Brazil. Oh, he's in Geneva. No, K9 is in a hidden, very thick safe. And also inside the safe is the middle of space. And also, he's orbiting a black hole, and he only shows up at the space every, like, few days, right, where the door is. And also, if he ever stops watching the black hole, it'll consume the Earth. So he's very busy right now. He can't come to the episode. We have our own computer. But we don't know how long he'll be in there. So, like, maybe if we ever decide we need him, we can pull him out of the safe. But he can't come to the episode. He's busy.
Perfect.
Like, not only is he busy, but, like, except for a few minutes every several days, he's not even obtainable. It's like, no, it's actually funny because, you know, K9, he was hard to control. He was a nightmare to work with. The RC interfered with the cameras of the time. So he's constantly written out because, like, the doctor's landed on a swamp. Well, we can't bring K9 on a swamp. One way they write him out is they give him laryngitis.
Oh.
It is never explained. It's literally a joke where the doctor's looking over his circuitry and he pulls out K9. He's like, laryngitis? Well, how do you even get laryngitis? I mean, what would you even do with it? And that's all that's explained. K9 has laryngitis. He can't come to the episode right now.
I am a fan of K9's write-offs. This is good.
Yeah, I mean, not all of them are that good, but I like how they just went, laryngitis. My niece has laryngitis, and I don't know. I'm out of ideas. Because, yep. And I love as well the idea that the doctor can diagnose laryngitis by looking at circuitry. I do like some of the absurdity of Tom Baker. But I mean, we'll get to my doctor ranking video. It's fun.
Oh.
Like, nobody's gonna like the first half hour of my doctor ranking video. Literally no one.
An exciting pitch, that is.
There are hot takes.
Mm.
There are very hot takes. There are takes that honestly are reasonable, but you know, you'll still not like the outcome. But once we cross the halfway threshold, do you want to take a peek at my list?
Ooh.
Or do you just want to
Probably won't be able
spoil
to
on the
understand
video?
most of it.
Yeah. Well, so don't say the place anyone is in, right? I don't want you to spoil it for the rest of them. But they can tease it through your reaction. Where did I put it? Not that one. And sorry, I got 20 terabytes. It takes a while to think about it. It's like, please stop jumping between all my hard drives. Future videos, unedited, main channel, Doctor Who, Doctor ranking. Oh, I know, it's very deep. Here we go. There's some notes as well, but the ranking is on the top. Don't say where anyone is. Don't. Maybe even don't. I don't know. Just be careful, right? You don't want to spoil things.
Yeah. Oh,
for
naturally.
the audience. Oh, well, Photoshop just crashed.
I can't believe what you've done with these doctors. This is
Oh no, it's this
despicable.
this Windows File Explorer is I try and
Put them
reopen
there,
Photoshop. Hang on, Photoshop's booting up again. Oh, well, it crashed again. Hang on, I'm clicking through something. Even Photoshop's rebelling. I didn't write them down. Actually, I did write them down. So I can recover. Task. So, read any good sunflowers lately?
I can't say I have.
Our pumpkins. Hey, there's more pumpkins growing in the garden.
Oh, that's good.
I think we have at least 5. Yep. Okay, Photoshop's trying to boot again. It's on the other monitor. You can't see it. Okay, it's loading this thing. You see this pop-up. It's probably like Creative Cloud. Oop, it closed again. It wants me to sign in. Who was the Adobe account? Let's try the smart option, and then... Ooh, that looks... Actually, no, they both have an Adobe account. It's just one of them doesn't pay for it, and so they doesn't actually have... Okay, there we go. That was the right one. It was the correct email address. There you go. Bam. As I close all of my tabs. They're up top here. You can see all 16 doctors.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. So this is
So
not,
16 is the worst one, and then number 1 is the best one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see it took a lot of consideration, but I did put 13 at number 1. I mean, I know I've said a lot of bad things about her, but it just, when I really boiled it down, she was the absolute best one. That one's not true, by the way. Yeah, no. Over here, this is the best one.
This is... This...
Okay, you can see there's a big explanation under this one right here. Okay, this one is, there's a reason, right? This is the script I wrote. What? Down here in the bottom
line.
That's the midway. So everyone left of it is the bottom half, and everyone right is the top half.
Oh, okay.
So these are the modern doctors I put in the top half, and then there's at least one modern doctor in the bottom half. No, I'll tease that. There's at least 2 modern doctors in the top half. How would you rank the 2 doctors you've seen thus far? 9 and 10. I know you're about to call either the 9th
season of, and the one that I've seen 3 episodes.
You're about to call either the 9th or the 10th Doctor the worst Doctor you've ever seen. Yeah.
In my viewing experience of the episode, well, I've also seen the newest Doctor.
Oh, you did, but he's not on this list.
I would have to put.
You could still rank him though.
Because if we take the episodes I've seen what 3 episodes?
4
of David Tennant?
Because the
4
Christmas
episodes.
Special. Yeah.
Well, so it's gotta go
that one, to 9.
Eccleston and then Tennant.
The 9th Doctor's better, but you see, I'm not ranking seasons. I'm ranking the Doctors specifically. So I'm phrasing like this big paragraph is because I'm phrasing this question in a very specific manner. You can listen to me talk for like 10 minutes, but yeah, you might like this video. Here, by the way, is the thing people will be upset about. Here's hot take number 1. Here's the hot take number 2, and within that guy, you've got the biggest hot take that you will ever hear that they might actually kill me for. You might have to do this on your own.
Oh wait, no. Okay, I think I know most of these Doctors.
Yeah. You should know her and him and maybe him.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah,
because I couldn't find a picture for 14. Weird. Well, I couldn't find a picture for 14, so I just wrote 14 on the 10th Doctor and him. Yeah.
Yeah, I know those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, even you react. You literally only know 2 Doctors, and you were like, "Oh, that's what your reaction was." Yeah.
So weirdly organized.
Thank you.
In a bad way.
Oh, look, this was
ranking system. It's okay. So for people wondering, it's a horizontal line, but it's not even in the middle of the screen. It's at the top of the screen.
It's because, right, it's horizontal because there were 16 Doctors, and the horizontal is longer. If I did it vertically, it'd be too small, right? Yeah, it's at the top because originally I had all the pictures, and I was, like, slowly moving them up to this final ranking. And, like, you see down here, I have some... Like, I ranked the 80 Doctors relative to each other. I did some, like, smaller rankings. So I could check when I did the final ranking, are like, the 80s Doctors still in the right order, like, relative to each other, is, like, a vibe check. Because, you know, it's basically in case I said, like, 7 is better than 12, who's better than, like, 6, who's better than 7. And I made a loop. And so I basically wanted to check that I didn't make a loop on accident.
It's functionally speaking, great list you got here. Aesthetically speaking, there's not even a background on this.
Well, no one's supposed to see it. Like this is just my notes. Like this text.
I see it. All right, I'm excited.
I'd show people. Actually, you know what I can do? Is I can. Oh God, that's so blurry. It's just white. Here. Oh, there you got the floating arm. I've ruined the magic. Where is that arm? There we go. There you go. Now you can see a heavily blurred version of you literally can't even see it. It's horrible. And I ruined the magic of how I put the time bar under the arm. It's But yeah, as even Caden says, the funny thing is cuz everything on the upper half fine. You know, like they're the better half of Doctors. Like, even if you like them more than me, you'll be, yeah, all right. You know, there's not really a bad Doctor, provided we just look away from 13 for a moment. Like, no one will tell you that there's a bad Doctor. So, like, there's the bottom 4, which some people will be, like, upset, but someone's got to be at the bottom. There's the second quadrant, which no one's gonna like that section of the video, so they'll all leave before they get to the first, like, the top half. I am gonna, look, you'll never see a list like this, ever. I will guarantee that no one will ever have. Look, my take on this guy is literally unique, and that's got the hottest take. No one will like that. I'm tempted to okay, so for context, there is a speech that everybody loves. Like, I can't stress enough how much everybody and how much love is in Everybody Loves This Speech, right?
Yeah.
It's bad. It's naive. It doesn't seem to understand its subject matter, and it doesn't really make sense even in universe or out of universe. And the Doctor knows it's nonsensical because it directly contradicts his life experience. And I agree with the position the speech is taking, and I found it horribly unconvincing. It almost it could convince me to drop my viewpoints. It's a bad speech, and I'm not going to include a full break, but I'm going to do a section of it because it'll also really demonstrate why the Doctor is good. Like the good aspects of the Doctor. I couldn't ask for a better reference than this speech, but I kind of want to do a video on why it's bad. But if I did a video on why it's bad, no one would watch it. The people who do would like start it and leave right away. It'd be like 90% dislikes. That's probably optimistic. And like I'd be booed off the stage. Like I'd mass unsubscriptions. But I kind of want to do like...
You gotta Trojan horse it, you know?
Maybe if I write it in like a really academic, like unemotional way... Mm-hmm. But as much as I feel like I want to be reasonable about it, I feel, especially the way I tend to kind of do these videos to help not make it sound super monotone, is I do put some emotion behind it. And so I feel like as well, there's got to be bits where I'm like, no, this isn't how, sometimes I do that like, what? Or like I really slam Sarah Jane as like a bit in this episode. But... So, like, I feel like I almost want to make an angry rant video, but the only way that video has any hope is to not be an angry rant. Yeah. And I'm a small channel, so, like, no one's going to see... I'm going to put all the effort in, and no one's going to watch it, because no one's going to see why this speech that everyone loves sucks, and click that. Especially with how many Doctor Who YouTubers... Like, we're all kind of sick of complaining about Doctor Who after the 13th Doctor. Is, like, we've all complained now. Like, no one has anything new to add to that discussion. It's all been said. We're just waiting for Big Finish to happen, and we can finally look at something outside the context of her era and go, yeah, all right, and then move on. Like, that's the only thing. But the thing is, and, like, why I've added some of the minor Doctors who aren't numbered, and part of why I want to do this video is, like, I've literally never heard this take. Not on the speech or of that Doctor. Like, I have what at least in online Discord, I think is a unique take on the Doctor, this incarnation, and like a few of the incarnations, and some things that I think that I have never seen before. So there's interesting things to discuss. And I don't know, maybe I'll make that video and someone will point out to me why the speech is actually great, but it'll be hard when we do it, right? Like, I'm going to have to say, Caden, do you want to experience what everyone else considers to be like the greatest speech in the show on your own? Or do you want to not be able to hear it because I'm tearing it to shreds loudly as it's playing? It's like, which one do you want? So I feel like it'll be one where you'll enjoy it, and then I'll tell you my flaws, and you'll be like, oh yeah, it's kind of ruined a bit now. Which I've definitely had before, where I've did things I like. I'm like, yeah, this was fun. And then someone points out some stuff I didn't think of. It's like, oh, well, dang, you're right. Yeah, I mean, if you like it, fine, ultimately. It's not like, it's going to kill someone. Like, it's just it's a moral argument I think is bad. Okay, in fiction. And that's ultimately promoting a stance I believe in.
Yeah, agreed.
I just think it's arguing it bad. And, that's one of the things that'll really get me going, is if you make a bad argument, especially for a position I hold, or like it back. So it's like, I agree with you, but I'll probably fight your position harder than the person who doesn't. Because, like, if you're gonna argue something, argue it right, because otherwise it's just, for one, it's not a convincing argument. Yeah. But like, you might actually push people towards the other direction. So it's like, well, especially if it's something very controversial or like politically charged. It's like, well,
yeah,
you're nonsensical. So like, why would I listen to you? It's like, it kind of reinforces an idea that people who think differently are just idiots. But it's like, so argue, if you're going to argue it right, dang it. Like, have an actual sound argument.
Gosh.
So.
Yeah, conceptually, the fact that you don't need to have a good argument, you just need to be good at arguing and debating, I hate it. It's like, but it's true. It makes sense. But yeah, no, it rubs me such the wrong way for that exact reason. It's like, just argue it right.
People can probably guess what this scene is, but I want to point out, in terms of like how the argument is presented, it's probably like the single best acted scene in the entire franchise. Like, everything except the words is fantastic about this speech. It's just funny. God, it's a bad. If you were to just read the argument and not watch it, it's bad. Like, the problem is, I think it's also just delivered so well that people get so caught up in like the emotion and weight behind the scene that they don't really critically think about the words being said, because ultimately we all agree with the speech. It's like, yeah, I agree. So and I mean, people just don't really think as critically with things they agree with as things they don't agree with. You know, that's just true. That's just a bias people have. But it's one of those things as well where it's like, if I don't like something and you like something, fine. If I don't like something and literally everyone else seems to like go on about how it's the best thing in the universe, you know, eventually I just get fed up. Yeah, you just, and I think a lot of people, you'll just get fed up. You know, Sarah Jane, fine. Sarah Jane, after hearing everyone tell you how she's like the best thing since sliced Jamie, I don't know, like, I just get fed up. She's not even bad. I just don't want to hear about how she's amazing anymore, because I'm like, well, whatever, like, good for you, but just stop telling me about it.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that. That's so funny.
Yep.
This is edge of my seat for when I can hear this.
I'll never do a companion ranking video because there's like 30 of them. It's too nuanced. It'd be too long. Like, the Doctor is going to be 2 hours. But every now and then there's someone I'll want to, just so I can tell people how mid Sarah Jane is, and then like drop the mic, you know? It's like, yeah,
do their own,
take that, Sarah Jane.
Video essays.
Inspiration to many, childhood hero, mid.
You're nothing.
You know? It's like, see, that's not helpful, right? Like, no one really wants that. It's like, oh, if I have something interesting to say, or like contribute to the conversation, but that's just like meh. If you ask, I'll tell you she's mid, but I'm not gonna like, you know, she's not even bad. I just think she's mid.
Like, overrated.
You know how? You know how people say, you know, the cycle is you love the Doctor, right? Then they regenerate. You're sad they leave. The new guy sucks, or the new person sucks nowadays. It's not good. Then you grow to love them. They regenerate, repeat, right?
Yeah.
I don't get that. I'm like, yeah, you know, next Doctor. Like, I mean, I'll probably be sad if they're gone if I like them, but I'm also excited for like the new one. I've never had the time where like my perception of the previous Doctors influenced the next. Even people like the 6th Doctor, who have really, really rough starts, by the end of his story, I was actually like, yeah, all right, I'm down for like 2 seasons of this, you know, just see what's up. In his regeneration story, he attempts to strangle the companion to death. Is just an example. It's not it's famous. It's one of the great tragedies of our time, that story. You could construct a narrative where that story directly leads to the cancellation of Doctor Who. They chose to have that story be the last season of the previous Doctor, so it was the only story people had for a year, and it's not good, and it paints the Doctor like not the Doctor in any way. It's bad. I don't hate it as much as other people. Fight me, I know. But whatever my oh yeah, the only exception is 3rd to 4th Doctor. I missed 3 and 4. I know 4. Tom Baker. I never really warmed up, and the companion Jo Grant to the companion Sarah Jane, who just was like, this is a step down. I'm sorry, Sarah Jane. I like Jo. Most people like Jo, but I think I like Jo more than more than most. I don't know. I just liked her.
I'm
Slam
just
dunk.
now picking up that the blue you've selected is really similar to my blue.
Oh, yeah, Caden's Discord icon is blue. Just blue. What, you mean click randomly in the middle of blue and go to the top right? Yes. I believe we're getting close to the time you said you might have to be leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should wrap it up. I will say thank you all very much for watching. I hope you're hyped for the most, like, upsetting Doctor Who ranking video you'll ever see. No one will watch it. I'll get
What's the
sad.
name of the next episode we watch? What's the name of that?
Alex has just brought me muffins, but what kind of muffins?
They are pumpkin banana with chunks of apple in them.
Next episode, we're about to end, but is actually... Oh, it's not. I thought it was a different one. It's The Girl in the Fireplace.
All right. A lot of talk about this one.
David Tennant, we've given you a rough time. You get to kiss someone this episode. Well done. Yeah, I mean, he's basically just the dog. Welcome to Heterosexual Rogue. I've talked about this before. It's the one Stephen Moffat episode when he's not a showrunner that I don't think is great. It's fine. I got problems with it. We can talk next. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still like a solid episode. But yeah, it's interesting because this is the first time it's similar to another episode, and you've seen it. Yeah. Right? And you saw Rogue first. You got a unique perspective.
Yeah. This has, like, never happened before. I'm the first.
Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon to be like, Girl in the Fireplace is a bit overrated. Mm-hmm. I think... No, I'll look it up. I don't want to say it unfounded. I think there's a gap. There's a commonality between people who tend to like it and people who don't, but I'm going to look it up for next episode because I don't want to be wrong about that. I might be confusing it with, like, Star Trek episodes, and I think I am. I can tell you after the stream. I don't care. But, yeah, we got The Girl in the Fireplace. And just so you know, Caden, the week after that... actually, am I doing that week? Yes, the week after that, Star Trek Day, we will celebrate by watching 2 episodes of Doctor Who. It is a double bill. Unless you can only do one, I guess. Then we can do one. But it's a 2-parter.
I will let you know.
Yeah. So, I will say thank you all very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
You did do a longer gap this time because I talked about it last time.
That was a really good one.
Okay, we're not live anymore.